Hello and welcome to RecoverMe. This is my rough guide to recovering yourself. My name is Claire Ayres and I'm entering into 16 years and a bit in recovery. Now, I'm doing this now because I discovered that I had this idea back in 2005 when I entered into the Priory, and I realised this is something that I'd have liked to be my companion along the way. And then I've written about it. Okay, it's 2021 now. And I kept thinking, yep, when I've done this bit, I'll write it. Then I got into my recovery, got in the first year. Then I got a job. Then I went to a different career path. Then I went into social work. I thought, right, that's the time. Now. Then my fiance at the time got cancer stage 4. And I thought, well, after this and after I'm married. And funny enough, I just kept on writing and studying. It never seemed the right time to discuss the plan of my recovery. And then I had a child, beautiful boy, who has extra needs. So I thought, well, I'll focus on this and write about this aspect. Then later down the path, I then lost several babies. And I thought, well, I'll learn from this and I'll write that down. Then it'll be the perfect time. Then I discovered there were things in my marriage that weren't so healthy, and that marriage has ended. I thought, okay, I'm going to get over that and write about that. And then COVID happened. What has become really clear is that there is never a perfect time. And as much as I was writing about recovery and aspects of the importance of going with the flow and embracing all the kind of little chinks that come along the way, that are our uniqueness and our identity, I realised I was losing sight of my recovery in the sense that I was starting to see it as a destination and forgetting that it's a journey. And so because of that, I'm starting today. I'm starting today with all my chinks, my little errors, my maybe a few stumbling, but now I need to start. Now, I looked at the dictionary definition. I'm going way back in 2012, and it was saying to recover is to get back, regain something lost or taken away, to make up for or make good loss or damage, etc., to oneself, to regain strength, composure, balance, or the like for oneself, to reclaim from a bad state of practice, etc., to regain health after being sick, wounded, or the like, to regain a firmer or better state of condition, to regain one's strength, composure, balance, etc. Well, for me then, recovery is not necessarily have to be about a specific addiction, mental health, a whole plethora of things, because I think in a way is that we all have our own state of recovery. And what I mean by that is we peel back the layers that we've acquired, like the debris after a storm that may have stuck onto stuff, that I think our experiences in life become this debris. And before we know it, we don't really know if we're doing something because we like it, whether we generally have passion for it, or it's something we've taught ourselves to do or acquired over time. And there's many stages in our life where we can go through that. From leaving home, to having a partner, marriage, to getting children. There's elements that all are us, but then we can become more lost by the core centres, our roots, who we really are. So this is the journey through it. I want to take you back for a minute, back to 2005 when I entered in the Priory. And I remember them telling me about recovery. Now, I had taken a while to make this decision to go and get help. Finally come into it wholeheartedly, and then they told me recovery was a process. Process? I was in there to get my gold steel tick, finish recovery, move on with my life. Initially, I felt like the rug had been pulled underneath me and I felt totally lost about where I was going to go. And then it came to me, and I remember speaking deeply to one of the counsellors there of my complete disillusionment, what we're going to do. I don't want to do this process and go through this if it's a continual slog. This is so hard. And we spoke about it, and she was, I think, a good 15 into her recovery at that time. And she explained to me that it wasn't like that. And then suddenly I had this image in my head. And the image was of back when I was a child in our neighbourhood. There was people that had gone away to live in Holland several years and then come back, and their garden and house was there just until they got back. And as children, we snuck into the gate, and the grass was massive, and it was like, I remember it being a neat, pristine garden. You can clearly see the outline of everything. You couldn't see where anything was. It was just, you couldn't tell where the flowers were, the weeds were, vegetable patch, anything. It was just all one big mass. And I remember when they came back, and step by step, they were working out what was a weed, what was a flower, what was a weed but they liked and wanted to keep, what was a flower that no longer they liked that area. And then once they'd done that first landscaping of it, which took probably a good year because they had to wait for seasons to pass. It wasn't this big traumatic thing. They had this big haul out every year again. It was just gentle nourishment that they did in a loving way, and the enjoyment of it. And I realised that is recovery. That the initial part, yes, it does seem overwhelming because you've got a whole mass of crap to look at and unpeel back, and it's knotted and matted like a big matted hair, and you haven't combed through to see where the original hair bit was. Some bits you kind of just got to cut off, some bits have the patient and not going to be a little patch you have to gently work through. But eventually it becomes this process which you enjoy, and that looking after yourself and nourishment isn't a slog. It's the same way of a refreshing glass of water you wake when you first get up in the morning and then quenches your thirst. It's not something you admonish yourself to do. It's this element that you need and you enjoy because it keeps you feeling well. And so that's what RecoverMe is to me. And I want to share this with you now. So as I go along, I want to share more videos like this, and we'll talk about different elements and things that have helped me along the way as I am today, and things I'm continually working at. And I want you just to know that it's still all part of the path, and it's still your recovery. And then to let go of the rigidity of it, because there's such beauty in your wildness, in sometimes stepping off to a sideline and getting a bit lost, and then finding your way back. It's all part of it. And part of that is for me sharing that by sharing with these videos. And this is my first one. And for me, I'm excited to then look back in the future and see the difference of the growth. But I just remember when I began my recovery, the overwhelm and the loneliness that I felt, and how I'd love to have had some guidelines of someone who'd walked this path with me. And not because they were doing it perfect, not because of that, but just something to show me that in a positive way that there's a freedom in that, and there really is. And where I am now and where I am in my head is such a beautiful place to be, and I wish that for everybody. So this is RecoverMe, and I hope you come along again. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. All right, thank you. Bye.